In Black Ops 7's launch map Ashes of the Damned, there are a variety of locations. In this video, I'll be giving you the known history over the main POIs, so this will not include Monolith Forest, or the Graveyard, or the wrecked ship. Janus Towers. What was once your ordinary nuclear reactor run by a corrupt and selfish businessman became repurposed into an evil science lab run by director Richtofen, founder of Project Janus, the successor to Requiem. According to Treyarch, the towers were built in 1989, however this date is incorrect and so I wouldn't consider it canon. Janus Towers performed all kinds of experiments and operations, being the location that the now deceased Forsaken was contained in, where Panos created the Gorg effects, and where Richtofen's cloned family resided. It was here where Weaver, Maya, Carver, and Gray battled against Director Richtofen, or Sam, using the Sentinel artifact to fulfill either of their desires. The location of Janus Towers was taken into the Dark Aether presumably sometime after the events of Reckoning, or alongside it. The overgrowths on the Janus logo out front makes it hard to discern whether or not this is a recent arrival, or if this is even our Janus Towers. Aside from ourselves, another survivor of this transportation is Uberklaus. This mechanized fiend was an enemy in the Reckoning map and behaves the exact same way as he did before. Destroying him will drop a stabilizing chip, which is required for the main quest, and a friendlier face. Van Dorn Farm. Presumably on the outskirts of Liberty Falls, the Van Dorns are a twisted and cruel family that feast on the meat of other human beings. They've been at this before even getting sent into the Dark Aether, giving them wives' tales and rumors of their cannibalistic behaviors. Even Tank Dempsey knows of these rumors. The Van Dorn's daughter was visited by two spirits, twin sisters that have suffered greatly by the hands and skulls of the Warden. They seemingly tried to warn the young girl, but she was naive. She failed to hear their warnings. In the end, when the Van Dorns arrived in the Dark Aether, they were right at home. Plenty of meat to catch and consume. It isn't known to me whether this cannibalistic behavior of theirs began as a result of the Vault of Flesh in their basement, or if they found this box after their arrival in the Dark Aether. But either way, aside from feeding themselves, they feed the box. The family would one day succumb to their souls being drained, at least I presume that's what's been done to them, leaving the farm and Vault of Flesh abandoned. Although by the time our crew arrives, they are able to unlock the vault and gain access to the Necrofluid Gauntlet. Blackwater Cabin. A famous director by the name of Dean Roth produced and directed several iconic horror films, becoming so obsessed with the perfect death scene that his mind began to descend into madness so that he can craft just that. His wife, Evelyn Sharp, who is an actress, was to be his subject for this mastercraft. His final film was to be one of true, genuine horror, and to get that expression of fear and dread, he had to put his dear Evelyn in very real danger. Evelyn feels this danger, and her ability to act is hampered. She feels discomfort around Roth, as he is always watching her, scheming, planning, and analyzing. She plans to make an escape, but by the 27th take of her death scene, Roth succeeds in her murder, drowning her in the frozen lake just behind the cabin they were residing in. His camera crew, producers, and the whole team were let go prior to this moment. It was just him and her. And finally, he got it. The perfect death. This act of sin seems to have made him a desired target for the Warden, as sometime after this, the cabin with Roth and the spirit of Evelyn were warped into the Dark Aether. Roth eventually succumbed to his own fate, letting his own credits roll. Ashwood. The dimensional origin of this place isn't clear to me. The Warden's diary appearing in Nikolai's dimension could mean he's from that universe, but the Warden is described as ancient, so my personal belief is his universe is from before the multiverse's original destruction back in Tog der Toten. The town of Ashwood, founded in 1820, was seemingly used as an outpost for Confederate soldiers during the American Civil War. In 1865, the Warden, who is a resident of this town, and several other Confederates were planning a raid on the Northerners, but as they rode forward, one by one their horses fell, as though death itself rode with them. The Warden began to realize that what was transpiring was an act of betrayal. Someone in their ranks, or perhaps someone in the town of Ashwood, poisoned their horses. But realization came too late. The Northerners arrived, killing the Confederates where they stumbled and stood. The warden fled from the massacre, declared a coward and deserter, but to him, the real coward was the one who betrayed them. Seemingly around this time, the town of Ashwood was plunged into the Dark Aether. Citizens of the town blamed their own sins or each other on their shared dooms. Fingers pointed everywhere, as if another civil war was ready to break out at any second. The warden demanded they all provide more bloodshed and sacrifice, but a local of the town, Josiah Whitlock, refused to let any more innocents die. Unfortunately for him, the denizens of this realm had different plans for them. Exit 115. Operational from 1950 up until its disappearance in 1989, Reba's Diner belongs to, well, Reba and her boyfriend Earl. Keep in mind that this relationship of theirs is an affair behind the back of her husband Hank. Presumably not having a healthy marriage, she wants an out, but feels there's none in sight. Earl provides comfort, and they formulate a plan to eliminate Hank, collect his insurance money, and live happily ever after together. But one murder led to another, and then another. They were taking down anyone who gave them the stink eye. Their acts of careless murder had them dragged into the Dark Aether, their souls leached and now struggling for survival. Reba and Earl argue with one another, showing just how healthy their relationship really is, until Earl acts out in anger and bashes Reba's head in with a frying pan. But Reba got her last laugh from beyond the grave, as Earl's drink was poisoned, resulting in our little murder couple to suffer the same fates as all of their victims. Prior to the diner's arrival into the Dark Aether, a detective, Tommy Briggs, was beginning to get on their trail. Interestingly, he shares the same name with Lieutenant Commander Tommy Briggs from the Black Ops 2 campaign. Unknown if this is an alternate universe's version of him. Zarya Cosmodrome. In an alternate timeline, the Ascension group seemingly never began development of weaponry. Instead, they focused entirely on rocket research. Their main rocket shared its project name with the Thunder Gun, being Project Thunder. Creative name, I know. In this timeline, Dr. Yuri Zavoysky found a diary just as he did before. Instead of belonging to Richthofen, this diary was far older and belonged to the Warden. Immediately after gazing into the book's interior, the Warden's voice entered Zavoysky's mind. Taking advantage of Yuri's insecurities and ego, the Warden coaxed Zavoysky into betraying Dr. Gersh, the leader of the facility. The Warden's control over Zavoysky didn't take long, and he entered a manic state. According to a cosmonaut on site, Igorov, Zavoysky looked as though he was in a trance. Yuri hijacked the rocket, causing it to malfunction, somehow opening a wormhole around the facility, plucking it out of its universe and into the Dark Aether, where the surviving staff would become food for the Warden and his undead flock. Although the fates of Zavoysky and Gersh are never provided, we can assume they face the same fate as their comrades. According to Nikolai, this cosmodrome originates from his dimension, as rumors began to spread of a cosmodrome vanishing without a trace. To my knowledge, this is currently everything on the POIs found in Ashes of the Damned. Of course, if I'm missing anything or got anything wrong, please let me know, but if you enjoyed, then awesome. As always, shout out to my members Milk and N for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.